Around the world, out-of-school adolescent girls continue to be excluded from traditional sexual and reproductive health and rights (SRHR) programming. They are among the hardest to reach despite facing some of the greatest barriers to accessing essential health services. In places like urban informal settlements in Kenya, rural areas of Zambia, and refugee host communities in Uganda, progress in SRHR laws and health system strengthening often hasn't translated into real change for these girls. As a result, they remain vulnerable, navigating complex social norms and limited access to health services. She Soars, funded by Global Affairs Canada, is a multi-year initiative working to change that. With a focus on increasing SRHR information and services for adolescent girls, especially those out of school, the project is not only delivering services, but also shifting harmful social norms. At the heart of this work is youth leadership. Through the She Soars Youth Advisory Board, YAB, young people have played a critical role in shaping the program, from co-designing interventions to ensuring youth voices guide decision-making.
This podcast introduces to you the new YAB members, Shanura, Anthony, Marina, Matthias, and Derek. We are excited to share with you our motivation and aspirations. But before we dive into the conversation, let us get to know everyone on the team.
My name is Jimbo Shanura, the Youth Advisory Board member for Uganda, and I have over 2 years experience in the She Soars program. My experience with the program started when I was a vacist in Senior 6, where I was out of school. And as a young person, I was facing a lot of challenges, starting with information. You know, our education system only gives us information about books, but when it comes to our health and well-being and informed consent, I was out of it. So when the program came, I was actually equipped with information on how to stay safe as a young person, but most importantly, take care of myself. So the program actually helped me to become the leader I am today, and I am very excited to be the new Youth Advisory Board member for the She Soars program.
My name is Anthony Njuguna. I'm the new YAB member on the She Soars project. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
Hi, my name is Matthias Sakara and I'm the new Youth Advisory Board for the She Soars project based in Zambia. My experience and journey has been amazing and also inspiring to an extent whereby I started the public speaking journey when I was still in primary school, and after that I completed my secondary school and I had to step up, work in the field of mechanics, and after that I realized that I still have the passion in advocacy, and I had to join the She Soars project as a young connect.
My name is Marina Lungu. I'm a Youth Advisory Board member for the She Soars project in Zambia. I began my journey as a youth researcher with Restless development, where we collected and explored ways in which young people would love to access sexual and reproductive health and rights and services in our various health communities. I come from a very rural and traditional area where access to contraceptives is seen as a taboo. So the incoming of the She Soars project help us as young women and girls to have the opportunity to speak about some of these things and issues that affect us with regards to adolescent health and programming.
My name is Atiki Derek. I'm a young person from West Nile, Arua City to be precise. So my journey in the She Soars project began in 2022 when I was volunteering for an organization, one of the partners in the project. So I had really a journey with them for quite years, 2-3 years. And from there I became a peer educator. So I started knowing more about the project because I was already a participant. I would go to the field and, speak to these young people. And with my history with the young people, I actually found myself where I wanted to be. So from there, after a few years again, being a peer educator, the space of being a youth advisory board was advertised and I went for it. But guess what? I really did it and I got it. So I'm really happy that I'm in the space I am because I have a lot of reasons that I am in this space.
Now that we've heard from everyone, let us explore the collective vision for advancing meaningful youth engagement in adolescent health programming and the impact we hope to make in the next few years.
My motivation to join the Youth Advisory Board is to help create a space where young people's lived experiences can actually shape the policies of our country. As a young person, I have had first-hand experience where the programs that actually affect our lives do not have input for us. But I believe that as the Youth Advisory Board member, I would have the platform to amplify voices of my fellow young people, especially those adolescent girls and young women out of school.
One word that made me want to join the YAB is meaningful youth engagement. I am a staunch believer in youth voices being heard. I'm a staunch believer in youth taking control over their lives and the choices that they should make. Yeah, and I also believe that meaningful youth engagement is really, really essential in combating these whole things around tokenism.
What motivated me to join the Youth Advisory Board is that I am a young person who is enthusiastic about advancing sexual reproductive health rights, meaningful youth engagement, and also policy implementation. Young people have been treated as mere spectators and beneficiaries, which is not supposed to be like that. I felt that young people should be treated as not only as beneficiaries, but also as partners and also young leaders who contribute to development priorities to take part in the decision-making processes. Me joining the Youth Advisory Board for the She Soars project, I want to see that the voices of young people are amplified and also work collaboratively with the fellow board members to contribute to development priorities and change the lives of young people.
My motivation mainly comes from the passion that I have to drive meaningful change in my community. I will say this as a very personal story for me because the beginning of the She Soars project, before I knew about young people being involved in these leadership spaces, I had a friend in primary school and she fell pregnant. So after falling pregnant, she had to drop out of school. And if I had the right information then, I would have helped her for us to continue our academic journey. But that wasn't the case. So the coming of the She Soars project has helped me to enrich my knowledge on sexual and reproductive health. Now I'm able to advocate for more young people to have the right access to the information and to also fight against these norms that hinder us from accessing these services. Because remember, I'm coming from an area where young women having access to contraceptives is seen as a taboo. So now, because of my voice through the She Soars project, now young women are able to speak about this sexual and reproductive health with their parents, with their guardians, and we have the right information. So an empowered community now is able to support us as young women to further our education and to also have access to sexual and reproductive health services at the health facilities and even in our communities.
First of all, I've been in spaces or worked with different organizations that are dealing with issues that are related to adolescents, sexual reproductive health and rights. So in these spaces, you find that adolescents are not mainly given the focus. What motivated me to be or to go as far as a youth advisory board is that the adolescents are given a voice, because I want to be in that space and say that, you know what, adolescents should have this, it's theirs. The project has to go this way because it has to be. It's adolescent-centered. So that's why I'm there, to make sure that everything is adolescent-centered and it has to go in a way that the adolescents like.
Meaningful youth engagement is about shared power, trust, and responsibility. It is not only about consulting us as the young people, but actually equipping us with experiences and supporting us to make sure that we influence policies.
Meaningful youth engagement, in how I would describe it, is on two ways: do's and don'ts. One big don't for me is tokenism. Meaningful youth engagement is not tokenism. Meaningful youth engagement is youth taking part in some of these decision-making processes.
Young people are being engaged, but are they meaningfully engaged? We want to see to it that young people are not treated as beneficiaries, but want to see to it that young people are included in the decision-making processes. When we are designing the agenda, are we having the presence of a young person? When we are implementing things, are the voices of young people being considered? When we want to organize an event, are we inviting or are we perceiving young people as the entertainers of guests of the guest of honor, want to see to it that young people have to be treated as partners.
Meaningful youth engagement to me really is not something new, because beginning of the She Soars project, I was a youth researcher when we were speaking about young people, and it was entirely youth-led. So for me, meaningful youth engagement really is ensuring that young people are being involved and are taking part in decision-making spaces, and they're actually the ones that are driving the real change in the community. So meaningful youth engagement going forward for me would look like bringing now a lot of young people on board to influence policies, promote adolescent health programming, and everything to do with youth-led and activities that ensure that us as young people are active drivers in the real change that we want to see in our communities.
In the aspects of the She Soars project, or in the aspect of any other project, what's meaningful youth engagement? When you're doing a project, there has to be the beginning of the project, the birth of the project. Are you involving youth in that space? Are you making them know that we are making these decisions for you? Or they don't know? Okay? Do they know that something is coming like this, it is for the youth? Okay? Do they have a decision that, okay, you know what, maybe there's going to be a meeting. The meeting has to be in this particular period because it's comfortable for us. You understand? Or, like, do you even ask for them for their opinions? Okay? Do you consider what they feel, what they think? You understand? Or do you ask them, there is this amount of funds, how do you think we could use this? Or you think you're just going to buy for them umbrellas and they have to walk in umbrellas when it's raining? So that is aspect of meaningful youth engagement. Accountability, decision making. They have to have a voice, they have to have a choice, so that they decide for themselves. What spaces are there that youth are not there? And that's what I am for here. What decisions are partners making in the She Soars project that doesn't involve youth? And one of my roles is oversee most of these partners to make sure that meaningful youth engagement is enrolled out through the whole entire project.
One thing I hope to achieve as a Youth Advisory Board member by the end of the program is to see that every adolescent girl and young woman out of school actually can have access to information, to youth-friendly services and opportunities.
1. Access to these spaces. Young people need to come into these spaces and take a seat and say that we are young people, we want this, and we want this at this time and this time. 2nd, mentorship. Young people need mentorship to come into these spaces and speak very, very confidently and have the right information to say on what they want.
One thing that I hope to achieve on this journey of the Youth Advisory Board, I want to see to it that the voices of young people are not only heard at community level, are not only heard at the district level, but the voices of young people have to be heard countrywide. Not only countrywide, I want to see to it that the voices of young people are heard internationally, at the regional level, at the continent level. We want to see to it that the voices of young people are globally heard and considered.
So one thing I plan on achieving, first I would love to appreciate that I'm not the one that has started this work. So the foundation was already laid by the first cohort of the Youth Advisory Board members. So for us, it's just to take up the mantle and ensure that we achieve that which our fellow young people wanted to achieve through the youth advisory space. So for me, that one thing would be we promote more activities that are youth-led. And I'm doing this also in my community. We have a network called Empower Youth Network. You can follow us on Facebook, where we share opportunities for young people, and we are able to also dialogue with the broader community. So I believe for us now, as the second cohort, we carry on what was already laid for us so that we yield this result and make a better world for other young people.